So Donald Glover is in the news for a couple of things. The first thing that I saw here is very interesting, but we're gonna get into the Tina Fey comments first. Tina Fey essentially admits to Donald Glover that he was in fact a diversity hire when he was hired for 30 Rock as a writer.
It sounds like a joke Tina Fey would tell.
He was hired through what is called NBC's Diversity Initiative, which means essentially they got him for free. They didn't have to pay him because NBC would foot the bill for it. So he gets hired in that context, and he said that it gave him nightmares about having to, feel like he's performing well on the show.
Was this after or before he started rapping?
He rapped before.
Okay, he was already rapping.
Yeah, he was already rapping before this. Yep. He actually is. If we're going to operate under the idea that Donald Glover is what you would call a diversity hire, he is the gold standard for what you want, as in somebody who became extremely successful, is clearly actually very talented.
Sure, I just believe it's kind of implying that if Donald Glover had not been hired as a writer on 30 Rock, that it would have been because of race, and that's just not true. It would have been a coincidence that it didn't come across someone's desk.
He's been slighted, and I don't think it was race that was the issue, but he's been slighted because he's kind of been like the internet's hero for a while. When I remember, just because everything he was funny, he was pretty non-controversial. Everything he was in was good, and then he was a nerd, right? And so I remember when the animated Spider-Man show was coming out, and overwhelmingly everyone was like Donald Glover, and he gets shafted, right? They won't even consider him for the role. So I don't know what it is, but he has been slighted early on in his career. Now that he went through Community, he had a successful music career, he's doing a successful show called Atlanta. I don't know if that's the case anymore. He's kind of made a name for himself.
Well, he's now got a production company called Gilga Productions, and what I found most interesting about both of these articles, guys, wasn't anything to do with him being called a diversity hire. That's, if anything, just a hook. He's producing a short film with Michelle, that'd be even funnier, with Malia Obama. And what's interesting here is he actually admits to the idea that Hollywood is existing in a post-profit era. He essentially says that this company, Gilga, was created. So I'm going to read the quote here. It says, their approach to collaborating with Malia represents Gilga's larger approach to filmmaking, which Idori said was more about diversity of thought than diversity for optics. He said he's been looking to create a space for black artists to simply make art in their own style and establish themselves as auteurs without having to be successful every time. He's admitting that the post-profit era is in fact upon us, and he references a couple of artists. He references Wes Anderson. He goes, no Wes Anderson movies ever make any money, and he's kind of right about that. I think the Royal Tenenbaums profited, but
does that also apply to Tarantino and Scorsese?
No.
That's not the case.
No, and Kanye West.
Kanye West is a massively profitable collaborator.
But Wes Anderson seems to be the one he's referring to more here. He says, like with Wes Anderson, there's different rules, Glover said, adding that the director's work never makes money. It's not about the money. It's about sending a message. Okay, he
said it's not about the money. It's because a certain group of people are like, this is important. And I was like, are black people at a point now where they can do that on their own?
And they are. With whether we're talking about this, whether we're talking about Tyler Perry and his production empire, which is growing, there are a lot of examples here beyond just the fact that Hollywood does in fact enforce diversity initiatives, which give people more of an opportunity to get their foot in the door, in which the best case scenario you could hope for is that you create the next
it's just like
Donald Glover.
If the aim here is to lift up creative people from his racial community, why is it that you would immediately pick someone who can get whatever they want? Malia Obama.
Well,
being Obama's daughter, you can do
whatever
whatever you want. Your dad has a production company.
Right.
You can also go with any other production company. I'm sure they'd be happy to have you. But this is being framed as him lifting up an up and coming.
Well, no, he mentions it here. He
filmmaker?
says Glover's larger vision for his production company, which likens producing quality work to the way rich kids do. Rich kids don't do shit for money. They do things based on if it's going to make them happy. What's really what I realized in the last go round, I made a lot of money, and it wasn't that I was depressed or anything like that, but I just realized it's the people I was around that mattered, he said. People don't get quality anymore. They need a filter. Gilga is a perfect filter for that. So he sees it as like, look, I guess you can take Malia Obama and allow her to make stuff in the way she wants to make it.
You know, for all the stupid reboots and re-envisionings of everything that we're getting, like Donald Glover, Jordan Peele, Eric July, like Black Americans are actually creating new pieces of work, right? Like whether or not people enjoy it is beside the point. Is at least they're actually trying to pave their own way and create new
Jordan
stuff
Peele.
for us. That's what I said. Jordan Peterson, Jordan Peele. But
aside from the Candyman reboot, which he was not the director on, he was the producer on.
right.
In general, yeah.
But you know, he's had what three hits since then that were completely him.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy there's new stuff and I don't have to just rewatch The Little Mermaid all over again.
I mean, most of this stuff is never going to get released in theaters. It's all going straight to streaming
Nope was in
services.
theaters.
No, I'm saying the stuff he's talking about here. Jordan Peele's a different case.
yeah.
Jordan Peele's a different case.
Right.
The stuff he's talking about here, whether we're talking about a Malia Obama movie, which I shudder
Look,
to think what that's like.
A short film
I'll-
made by Malia Obama, if we're being realistic, is going to be about some woke social justice.
Maybe not though,
garbage.
because if you remember, like when they were in the White House as kids, they were constantly giving Barack a hard time because they were out like partying basically and smoking. So there might be something like I'm gonna keep an open mind here because
Should we review Malia Obama's movie?
is it supposed to? I'm just worried it's gonna be like a documentary.
It says short film, so I don't know. I guess that
So
would mean it
a
is
short film about
fictional.
her being like in
It
the
shouldn't
White
be
House.
about her.
I hope not.
I'm not
It would
interested.
be cool if they could make something that wasn't a self-insert. Like that's my biggest complaint with so much of what we see now is it's all self-inserts
Right.
because nobody has an imagination anymore and they can't imagine. There was an amazing video. You guys go back and watch. I don't even know the name of it. Zach from Comics Matter did a hilarious video yesterday about this writer who gave a horse vitiligo.
What?
It was like a Brony comic or it was like a My Little Pony comic.
Horses just have patches of fur that are different colors.
You
anyway.
have to.
What do
You have to go. You
How
have
does
to
a
go-
horse have
You have to go.
vitiligo?
You have to go watch
And how
it.
is a bison non-binary? I cry out
Like-
to the heavens.
And he said, like, imagine living in a world where you're so like creatively bankrupt that you take a horse and you give it you basically give it your condition because you don't have any
It's Michael
creativity.
Jackson horse.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And he said there is a horse version of vitiligo where in which you're not born with a kidney and you're not born with like a liver or something and you die in 2 days.
The hell?
And he's like, but he couldn't even give the horse that. He gave the horse a human condition because
Because it's non-fatal.
Yeah, no, because they themselves had it and they
because he
couldn't
has it.
because they couldn't imagine telling a story about something they themselves hadn't experienced because people are creatively bankrupt.
Well, I mean, you can write a story about being a horse and you haven't experienced that, so why does it have to extend?
Because you give it
to-
human qualities. Oh, also, it's like, is it going to be a story it's a story about a girl named Maria, who's the daughter of a president?
Yeah.
And she'll do drugs.
If
and
it's a
not get caught.
documentary that's lame, that's giving like Gutsy by Hillary Clinton.
Someone just chatted. There I was, a young black girl in a White House
Yeah.
for Malia Obama.
It's so poetic.
Hate it when that happens.
Dude,
Love
that'd be kind of
that.
funny if she said that.
I mean, also, if she's an actress in it, I'm kind of less interested in that too.
me
If
too.
she's just
Yeah.
a writer or a director, I'll respect the effort.
I
pay
haven't
for
seen
effort,
it, but to be fair, I haven't seen anything good from the Obamas since they had that giant deal they signed with Netflix. Like they were supposed to come out with all this content, and I don't even know if they've come out with it. I think there was one thing so far, right?
Yeah, and then there's the Archwell Productions studio owned by Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, which never really.
Tim actually covered today. He covered the story I wanted to do the other day about Leonardo DiCaprio going on the stand to talk about all that money that like the lead singer of the Fugees funneled to the Obamas in 2012.
Oh.
Like $30 million
What?
to the Obamas that was like pilfered from like the Malaysian government or something like that. And I wanted to cover it because it involved
Well-
the funding that came in. Like the guy that's being accused of this was the lead singer of was one of the original founding members of the Fugees. And he did the funding for Wolf of Wall Street. Tim covered it earlier today. But it's all evil. They're all swindlers. They're all criminals. Maybe we should arrest them and bring them to a show trial in New York City. Because of, maybe if he got the money from a porn star, then we could bring him to trial, but I guess not. So. Also, by the way, somebody needs to right now start. Do you guys remember when Lil Wayne got arrested and they had free Wheezy shirts? We need free Trump
No.
shirts ASAP. Like ASAP. We need.
I know they already exist.
We need to
Probably
make
on
those.
Luke's.
Dude,
website.
I like this is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but like, dude, I'm so over this. Like, it's a media nothing burger. They want you. They're holding a shiny object in your face and say, "Look, look, look,
in the
look,
works,
look."
in development, at wherever.
Yeah.
Like things are constantly in
Unprecedented, I
development,
get it,
but
but,
never
like,
come to be.
I'm not gonna spend every day on like, okay, Trump jail watch day 3. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry.
There was some great AI created mugshots that were fantastic.
I've seen a couple of them.
So yeah.
Pretty good.
Also,
There aren't going to be real ones.
Glover said when it came to he also talks in here about bringing on Liam Neeson to do the scene about that kind of apologizes for his gaffe. Do you remember like when Liam Neeson basically admitted that he had no idea how the world worked anymore and talked about how like when his like somebody he knew was R-worded and they identified the person who R-worded them as a black person. He says, I went out looking to he's like I just went around walking angry looking for a black person to be mad at for like a week or something. I was like, he admitted that in 2020. Who does that? Are you not reading the news, dude?
Well, he's Irish, right?
It doesn't matter.
That's
He
all I-
works
Literally
in
looking
America. Like
the
but
Irish are
they
famous for
brought
doing
him
stuff like that.
on. They brought him on Atlanta and like kind of
mean,
poked fun at it.
Mel Gibson
That's
is
good.
still
Well,
working.
that's the way. Like, dude, sorry to interrupt you, Mary, but like that's the way that like race relations. Like, if there's any actual conflict, it's a great way to solve it. Like, let's poke fun at the gaff. Come together, create some art together. You know, like don't like imagine if they tried to cancel him and just like he got blackballed from every.
Well, they did try to cancel him. It just didn't work.
Good.
Like, the media tried to cancel him. Just didn't work. Glover defends his work and brushes off the criticisms, which recently include Swarm's depictions of black women. I think they're talking about that sex scene also in Swarm that we were talking about that one day. He says, I'm not a politician. I'm an artist and I'm good. I'm a good artist. That's the difference. If I didn't think I was a good artist, then I'd be like, maybe I shouldn't do this. But this is nuanced and funny. I like it. For the most part, I'm a fan of Donald Glover.
I like him.
He just kind of annoys me. I don't know why.
He just comes off as artsy to me, and I appreciate.
Yeah, that's what I dislike.
I appreciate that he's just kind of artsy. And
I'll give you that. He is kind of like a dweeb in most like community. And, like, he's
also
really
like-
soft in the characters he plays.
I would also rather take Tyler Perry over what's his name than Jordan Peele any day of the week.
Why?
I have no idea. I can't intellectualize or verbalize why.
Maybe
but
because he's just been around longer.
maybe he's just been around. But also I feel like Key and Peele used to be pretty even-handed, and now they lean very heavily in one direction. With not the show, but Jordan Peele with his.
I don't know. I just saw Keegan Michael Key doing like a musical.
No,
or
he's
something.
great. Like he's great, and he does a lot of just the same role. And like, do you see his Bad Predator movie that he was in? I love that. I love that
He
movie.
was in Mad TV, wasn't he? Before Key and Peele. Yeah.
Yep.
I missed that show.
I really don't like that when someone criticizes a Jordan Peele film, they're just called racist.
Well, I mean, that's the same thing that happened to Obama, right? You weren't allowed to criticize Obama, otherwise you're racist.
right.
So
I think that's a really
I feel like
cheap way to silence people.
Then maybe that's what I'm trying to intellectualize. I feel like you're like people can be like, I don't like Tyler Perry movies, and no one's gonna be like, well, you're a racist piece of crap. They're gonna
If
be
you
like,
say that about Jordan Peele, they will.
yeah, but they're like, oh, you don't like Medea? you're probably just a person who doesn't like Medea. If you're like, I don't like Nope, they're like, where is your clan hoodie? Like,
Nope
where's your
felt-
Yeah.
Nope
like,
felt
I know it's
pretty-
in the
Why? Like,
closet there
what's the
somewhere.
fundamental difference? They're just movies.
Right,
Exactly.
I just like, even if like Nope was okay to me, I liked the other two movies, Us and what was the other one?
Get out.
Get Out. And I'm just happy there's just new movies. Honestly, even if I don't enjoy it, at least it keeps me entertained for 2 hours. And it's not watching the same nonsense over and over again.
Do you guys think that Tina Fey was just joking?
No,
when
I
she
don't.
said that
No, I don't
it was
like
a
Tina
diversity
Fey.
hire?
She's never been funny to me.
No, I think she's
I
saying
think
it
it's
in a
probably
way.
real.
I think she's saying it in a way that's business oriented. Like the way she phrases it just sounds like she's talking about it in a business context, not in the context of
I
trying to be
imagine her
insulting.
saying this in a snarky way.
Maybe.
Like, yeah,
He said there's no animosity between us or anything like that, but Tina Fey said it herself. The last two people who were fighting for the job were me and Kenya Barris. I didn't know it was between me and him until later. He also said that the Blackish creator said he hated Donald Glover for years. That's
Well,
weird.
Yeah, and he says it definitely didn't feel like I was supposed to be here. Like he felt a little bit of, what do you call that? Imposter syndrome.
Okay, that's a situation where imposter syndrome makes sense. If there is some like important thing that you're doing and you maybe don't have the faith in yourself to think that you deserve it. But when I hear that just some random person with an email job has imposter syndrome, it's like, you have imposter syndrome because you know that your job isn't useful to society and you are rightfully making the judgment that you don't deserve to be
don't know. I mean,
there.
I-
So,
lack of fulfillment.
I get
yeah,
that
it's a
feeling.
lack of fulfillment, not imposter syndrome.
I get that feeling with this job just because I feel like I like to compare myself to people that are very good in this space. So there's like the idea like, do you deserve to be here? I think that's a fair. At the very least, maybe you shouldn't like live on the concept of imposter syndrome, but it's good to hold yourself to a high
Well,
standard.
like in a job like this, like I think what you just gotta try to make a change, because you're making more of a difference than you realize. You're probably making more than if you were swinging a hammer or doing construction. You're making more of a difference because there's
What he's saying is I would
thousands
be
of
bad
people,
at construction.
thousands of people listen to you every day. So it's like you do have a chance to make a change and make a change for the better.
If someone said that like one of us would be more useful working at like a sewage treatment plant, it's like, would we though?
I mean, if there was if they had 0 workers, okay, maybe.
Yeah, but it's not like you can just insert any random person into any
Right.
random job and then they're going to all provide the same amount of value there.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.